Messi raked his studs from knee to ankle across Aissa Mandi's calf in the 32nd minute of Argentina's World Cup opener. Mandi went down in visible pain. The referee blew for a foul, kept his cards in his pocket, and waved play on. No yellow, no red, no VAR review. Hours later, Messi scored a hat-trick, tied to the all-time World Cup goal-scoring record, and became the story of the night for everything except that tackle. Algeria did not let it go. The Algerian Football Federation has now filed a formal complaint with FIFA. The question they are asking is one football has been avoiding for years. Do the game's biggest stars get refereed by a different set of rules than everyone else? By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why even Messi's own broadcast pundits think Algeria has a point, and why this is bigger than one missed call. Here's exactly what happened. 32 minutes into Argentina's 3-0 win, Messi contested a loose ball with Mandi near the touchline. He lost his footing slightly, and in the contact that followed, his studs caught Mandi low on the leg, raking up the back of the calf toward the ankle. Mandi crumpled. Referee Simon Marciniak whistled the foul correctly and moved on. No card, no trip to the monitor. The broadcast cameras caught something else in that moment too. Messi, still on his feet, glanced down at Mandi with what looked unmistakably like concern, not the reaction of a player who felt the contact was nothing. ESPN's coverage tore the decision apart live on air. Al Moreno did not hedge. It's 100% a red card for Lionel Messi. Should have been. He went further. You're raking the back of somebody's calf all the way up from the knee down to his ankle. That should have been a red card. His co-analyst Nedum Onuoha agreed, and added the detail that is now spreading everywhere this story is being discussed. When the player was on the floor, you could see Messi had a level of concern, because he knew he had potentially just done something there which could get him in trouble. Two broadcasters on Messi's own coverage were on the record, calling it a missed red card in real time. Algeria didn't stop at the broadcast booth. Through their federation, the FAF lodged an official complaint directly with FIFA, and according to AFP sourcing inside the federation, their case is not built on one incident. It is built on two. The Messi tackle on Mandi, and a second-half clash where Alexis McAllister is alleged to have caught Algeria's Ibrahim Maza with an elbow to the face. Maza is 18 years old. It was his first ever World Cup match against the defending champions, on the exact same night Messi was making history at the other end of the pitch. His own federation believes he was struck, and that officials missed it entirely. Neither incident produced a card. Neither received a VAR review. One federation source put it plainly: "We are not saying Argentina are not a great team, but we cannot remain silent in the face of what we see as clear injustice." That is not a federation trying to manufacture a grievance out of a heavy defeat. That is a federation pointing at two specific, replayable moments. One involving the tournament's biggest name, the other involving an 18-year-old playing his first World Cup match, and asking why neither one got the scrutiny the laws of the game require for serious foul play. Here's what makes the silence around Messi's tackle even harder to defend. This tournament has already shown exactly how strict FIFA can be when it wants to be. Days before Algeria's complaint, Paraguay's Miguel Almiron became the first player in World Cup history sent off for simply covering his mouth during an argument, a gesture that lasted less than 2 seconds under a brand new rule introduced specifically for this tournament. No physical contact, no injury, no risk to anyone. Straight red card, confirmed by VAR within seconds. Compare that to 32 minutes into Argentina's match against Algeria, where a player's studs visibly tore up a defender's calf in real time, with the contact clear enough for ESPN's own pundits to call it a guaranteed red card straight from the studio. One incident produced an automatic dismissal under a rule built to stop verbal abuse. The other produced nothing at all, despite meeting every written definition of serious foul play. If FIFA can act decisively the moment a hand briefly covers a mouth, The silence around a genuinely dangerous physical challenge becomes much harder to explain away as simple inconsistency. It starts to look like a choice. So is this really about Messi getting special treatment, or is World Cup officiating just inconsistent across the board, regardless of who is involved? This is already the second major VAR trust crisis of the tournament's opening week. Days earlier, in Switzerland's match against Qatar, a penalty was awarded and upheld after an offside review where FIFA never released the visual evidence behind the call. Gary Neville said on air that the decision looked wrong to him and that FIFA owed viewers clearer evidence to justify it. Ian Wright went further, calling the lack of transparency scandalous. If officiating is genuinely struggling across this tournament, Messi's no-card moment might be one symptom of a wider credibility problem, not proof of a conspiracy built specifically around protecting him. But that explanation only goes so far, because the scrutiny argument cuts both ways. Every contact involving Messi, Ronaldo, or Mbappe gets replayed in slow motion from 6 angles within minutes, which means, if anything, their incidents should be getting caught more often, not less. A studs-up rake on someone's calf is not a marginal, blink-and-you-miss-it contact. It is the exact kind of clear and obvious moment VAR was built to catch. And in this specific case, involving the most famous player at the entire tournament, it did not. FIFA has not confirmed any action on Algeria's complaint, no statement on Marciniak, no statement on the VAR bunker's decision not to recommend a review, just silence. The story keeps building across football media, and Algeria's accusation sits there, unanswered. Messi's night in Kansas City was supposed to be remembered for a hat trick that put him level with Miroslav Klose's all-time World Cup scoring record. Instead, the defining image of that match is increasingly becoming a moment that happened before any of his goals. A defender on the ground. An 18-year-old who says he was struck and ignored. A referee who chose not to look twice. And a federation now formally asking FIFA the question half of football media is already asking out loud. Was that a mistake? Or was that preferential treatment for the biggest name on the pitch? Do you think Messi should have walked? Or is Algeria reaching for an excuse after a 3-0 defeat? Whichever side you're on, FIFA's silence on this complaint is not going to make the question disappear. Subscribe if you want to know exactly what FIFA decides, because this is far from over.